subject of today's shiur, I'm starting off with, is the halacha that's relevant to this year's Tisha B'Av, actually Motza'ei Tisha B'Av, and I get asked about it every time Tisha B'Av is on Thursday, and it reminds me of when I was in Avrech Tza'ir, and I had the same question, and I saw different in the poskim, and I'd like to discuss the question of doing laundry on Motza'ei Tisha B'Av, showering on Motza'ei Tisha B'Av this year as opposed to other years. That's the subject which we're going to discuss in Mitzvah Hashem. Now, what? Are you finished with the shiur? We'll finish with the shiur, then maybe we'll know the answer. Now, a regular year, the halacha is that the halachas of Avelis of Tisha B'Av continue until the next day at Chatzos. And the reason for that is because the Beis Hamikdash burnt until Chatzos the next day. Just as an introduction to this question, the Beis Hamikdash started to burn at Chatzos, and it went for 24 hours. And the time that we start lightening up on the Hilchos Avelis, we sit off the floor. We don't sit on the floor anymore. Is after Chatzos, which seems to be the opposite of what one would think counterintuitive. And the answer to that question is given in many different forms. Just say the simplest form is there was always a question of HaKadosh Baruch Hu going to take it out on us or take it out on Eitzim B'Avonim. And we took it out on Eitzim B'Avonim so that we knew that we're being spared. So there was already an Nechama in the destruction. And the Nechama is call it bittersweet, if you want to call it that. But being that that's the case, that the Beis Hamikdash was being burnt until the next day, so there is a extension of Hilchos 9 days until the next day. We're learning right now Tov Kuf Nun Ches Sif Aleph. Okay.
We are doing Mishnah Berurah first.
What?
Doing Mishnah Berurah first.
First, to get the original background to the halacha. Tisha B'Av Leisera, that's when it happened. Okay. There's a meaning that we don't eat basar and don't drink wine on the 10th and the day of the 10th. Says the Ramah. Our meaning is that we only go until Chatzos on the 10th day. Then Shabbos and it's Nidcha, then there's no problem, just that the night is also. Okay, says the Mishnah Berurah. This is very important, this halacha that I'm saying over right now. You'll see, because there are a few halachas we're going to say today that are fascinating. Even though I was at a bris today, and I was actually at two, one of the brisim, the menu was fleishiks and fish. So I told the guy as a joke, I said, you must be having yekis come over here because I don't want to become fleishik. But the real reason why they had both is because only 10 people besides the Bali Simcha are allowed to eat meat. So they had fish for the others. I don't know how they decided who's a Bali Simcha and who's not, who's but that was the menu. That was the menu of the thing. And that is not true on the night post Tisha B'Av. Afilo in a krovo. The pshita delayla hazeh kila merosh chodesh av. This night is already more kal than Rosh Chodesh Av. The Rosh Chodesh Av yesh ksas avis medina de Gemara, and Rosh Chodesh Av and further that's already medina de Gemara shemamati b'maso mata, which we learned this last week. Enken bezeh shemuter medina kol. So even though, again, that's what a chazir is over because it's a delightful thought. Even though we're right now in the midst of the Churban happening, but the Hilchos Avelis is more kal than even Shmur Shachal Boy. It's more kal than even Rosh Chodesh. Okay, that's a fascinating thing. Achsurus Rosh Nalayla. Okay, that's the end of this halacha. It says right there. Al Chatzos Hayom Gimel. V'hu adin shelo lirchot b'merchatz not to wash in the bathhouse, with a saper, and to take a haircut, with a chabes ad chatzos. So what can't you do? You can't haircut, you can't shower, and you can't wash your clothing. What about wearing new clothing? What about that idea? I don't know if you guys, any of you remember wearing new clothing? I remember those days. So for some reason, it's not here discussed at all. And I saw somebody who says the reason why, and this is actually very true in Hilchos Avelis, because the halacha of wearing new clothing is actually an extension of kibbutz of clothing. So it's included. Possibly that's the answer to the question. But the minig vada is not to wear new clothing until the next day. Here we go. Ukeshachal Tisha B'Av b'yom hachamishi. That's us this year. She'az yom ha'asiri hu erev Shabbos. Mutter b'chol zeh lekol b'Shabbos. It's mutter. All of these things are mutter mishum kol b'Shabbos. Right. For some reason, we forgot to fill in the fine tuning, and here is where the machlokes is. But just you asked a good question, but I would just like to jump down your throat. What do you mean? What do you think? Obviously, right? Obviously, if you ask me, I'm a simple reader. It sounds like it doesn't happen at all. Just read. It doesn't say from when. It says it's not applicable. It doesn't say it, but that's what seems to be the simple reading of the Mishnah Berurah. That's my simple reading of the Mishnah Berurah. However, there are many poskim that say not like that. They say it's only mutter from the morning. Now, why should that be so?
There is still some vestige of.
But what is more holy about the night, the night and the morning, that it should still be applicable at night and not in the morning? The fact that's very good. If you take a look at this halacha, I'm going to right now read the Ramah that I skipped over because I cheat like I usually do. There's certain halachas that was a kindness day, so that night are also in certain things, and that's a possible explanation for this halacha.
Where do you ever see that? Which time that you ever see that if the day was done, it's extending into the night?
Well, I'll tell you, in the olden days when I used to be able to walk to the other side of the base medrash, I would be able to pull out a Shulchan Aruch. But is there some kitzur say for Hilchos Nida over there? Hilchos Nida, Shulchan Aruch, Hilchos Nida. Some kitzur sefer that goes with Vida Siman and Shulchan Aruch. Yeah, that's good. That'll work. I just need Shulchan Aruch. I don't need the. I was wondering. Here we go. It's in Kufay Hay. This is a horrible halacha over here. Halacha which we don't usually learn this halacha. I've done it sometimes in the past. A person is in the middle of having relations with his wife, and she becomes a need in the middle. That's like a bad situation to happen. And there's halacha. What do you do? Oh, what do you do? Okay. V'yis'an emem yom. You have to fast for 40 days. Ve'eno tzichem yosef tzufin. You have to fast straight. Okay. No, that means you'll be able to do it at night. Doesn't mean right. Okay. Rak v'kol shvuah shnei yomim k'yom sheni chamishi. V'leil tainus aser b'basar v'yayin. No, but and if you'll see that the poskim say it over here also. Etc. So here is the halacha, and here it says as follows. Get back to our halacha. Our balayla also mipnei avelis yom, says the Mefarshim. משמע זה רק בזה מפני הפילוסופיה של Tisha B'Av מחמירים גם בלילה האחרון, והוא כמו בין המצוות. That's what's משמע, ויש אנשים שמחמירים על עצם בוסר יין, אבל שאר תניות אין להחמיר בזה, and this is a machlokes. That's the opinion of the Mishnah here. But the bottom line is that the night is Bein HaMetzorim like. It's more Bein HaMetzorim like, and that's the custom. Okay. It's the opposite. We're right. The day, the night is part of the day. Right. Okay. So. What does it say? Bottom line, this is what it says. You look in the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, you look at many of the Poskim, they quote this halacha and they say that it's only mutter in the morning, it's not mutter at night. So you may ask the Rav, and the Rav may tell you it's only mutter in the morning, and there definitely Poskim say like that. I would like to start with an Igros Moshe. I'm going to introduce this Igros Moshe with a little bit of background to Hilchas Shabbos. I have a friend of mine who is a very bright fellow. Usually you don't have to say more than a half a sentence and he already is 2 paragraphs ahead of you. And he's a philosopher by nature. That's the way that he attacks things is by philosophy. I walked into his house one Friday morning and I saw that the table was set for Shabbos. So I says that this is Amaratzis, you're doing the wrong thing. You've been listening to all those seminary teachers. Said the seminary teachers tell you should get ready Thursday night and your Friday should be Beholga. And that's not what it says in Shulchan Aruch. It says in Shulchan Aruch you're supposed to get ready from Mincha Ktan or Plag Mincha. That's when you should set the table. So it should be nicker that you're doing it L'Kavod Shabbos. So I didn't even finish my sentence before he jumped down my throat and he started explaining to me why that was true in the olden days, but nowadays it's different. And we got into a whole discussion about this. And I think that it goes down in history that I won the war, I think. But the bottom line, the point of it is that the halacha says that you're supposed to set the table close to Kisei Shabbos so that it should be apparent. Not only that, you're supposed to take your shower and immediately put your Shabbos clothing on afterwards, so that shouldn't look like you're taking a shower in order to take a shower. And then later on, Shabbos came in. No, we want it to be apparent that you took your shower to cover Shabbos. How do we make it apparent? Well, you take your shower and then you put your Shabbos clothes on. This is what the Mishnah Berurah says to be done. And the Daiti, I said the Daiti means it's not beforish. It seems to be in the Mishnah Berurah held that a person should really be taking 2 showers on Friday. One to take even earlier in the day, and then one quick touch-up job to accentuate this point that the person is doing it for Shabbos. How early may a person take a shower for Shabbos? If I take a shower on Thursday night, am I Yotze?
Technically, it's Erev Shabbos.
I know that. I know that.
It's not a parent.
I understand, but are you Yotze? What about Friday morning? The minute you look at the Poskim discuss going to the mikveh an hour before Chatzos. But that's already a time that's okay, right? Why is that? When can you Makabel Shabbos? Not, well, maybe. According to some places, even earlier. But this is a question of how early can you do things? There are opinions that one is Yotze, B'diavad, if you want to, I don't know if that's the right word to use. B'diavad, taking a shower for Shabbos, even if you do it Thursday night. Now, what do you understand? Now, maybe, I just mentioned, maybe you could take your shower for Erev Shabbos Thursday night, and then what are you doing at Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock? So if the whole heter over here is a heter for Kavod Shabbos, so maybe it has to be that you're doing it a Kavod Shabbos. So I'm asking if you take a haircut on Thursday, you're probably not going to take one again on Friday. I'm asking for that. But what about I want to wash my weekday clothing? can I wash my weekday clothing at this time? What? It's not a covered Shabbos. I know that because that's what I call weekday clothing by definition. What did we read? What did we read? We read no distinction. We never get it. It's like this Pulim Shalachronim. We didn't know. What does it say? That's what it says. So we have to understand this halacha. So what? But it doesn't say what. Okay. Now I would like to share with you, Rev. Would you please put that Igros Moshe on? Okay. There's an Igros Moshe which discusses this question in part, and it's a very important Igros Moshe in general because it gives a lot of Hilchos Shabbos. Wow, that's not what it looks like where I saw it. Okay. Tama het kibus kaidem chatzais b'yud ba'av shachal b'erev Shabbos. So everybody says, what do you need a tam? It says mafurish, covered Shabbos. What's the covered Shabbos? So you all thought that the covered Shabbos means because I need the clothing for Shabbos. I'm a rich guy. I have another suit. I have another shirt. Am I allowed to wash the covered Shabbos? Where were you? I'm asking a simple question. I didn't. You know what I'm going to say? You know what I'm going to say? But no, what was the covered Shabbos? It was almost like it was like a given, but is that necessarily true? So in other words, I don't need the covered Shabbos to taka asa. Let's see what Moshe has to say. Fascinating tshuva. Tam het kibus kaidem chatzos b'yud ba'av shechal b'erev Shabbos. We would have never asked that question because we thought we knew the answer. Now we're going to find out that we definitely didn't know Moshe's answer. Even the things you don't go Shabbos, ובדבר בגדים שהם צריכים לשבס, שכספת שבערב שבס לא go heter, גם בהו לחבסון קרוב חצות בעשיר באב. If he understood it's a double pashut, and what we learned that you're allowed to wash your weekday clothing on Erev Shabbos in the morning. Anybody have a reason for that? We're lost. Hine, lefi atam da heter hu lechaved Shabbos, have lo na'aser kibus b'shar begadim kadosh chatzos after Erev Shabbos. That should have been pashut. That should have been halacha. Aval ulai kivan she'isu rak minig kosher ba'alma v'lo midina. It's not a halacha. It's only a minig. Now there's an expense. So what are you going to say? You're not allowed to wash your weekday clothing before chatzos. So what are you going to wash them? After chatzos. Are you supposed to be doing malacha after chatzos? So what are you going to do? So you're going to be mevater because of a minig. You're going to forget halacha, or you're going to be not mekayim a halachic aspect. This is not a good payoff. So when we have to work it out, so what do? We tell you you're allowed to wash your weekday clothing on Friday in the morning. Why? Some problem over here. It shouldn't be that we're going to end up being more meko after chatzos than before chatzos. That's opposite of what should be. What's the covered Shabbos? That on Erev Shabbos in the afternoon, you should not be washing your weekday clothing. So Mishum covered Shabbos, says Ramosha, we allowed you to wash your weekday clothing in the morning, so that in the afternoon, you're not going to be doing weekday chores, because Erev Shabbos is supposed to be devoted, after Chatzah is supposed to be devoted to Shabbos activity. Is this what you would have thought? Yeah, but there's a novel interpretation. Because there's no Isser. It's after, you can't Asser something that's not Asser. Why is it Asser to wash weekday clothing someone asked me on a regular Friday afternoon, am I allowed to wash my clothing on Friday afternoon after Chatzos? I can tell them yes. There's no Isser. You're not supposed to, but there's no Isser. So now I'm going to ask her. How can I ask her? It's mutter. It's mutter. You're just not supposed to be doing it. So now, because we're going to make a minute, so we're going to end up doing things that you're not supposed to be doing. Nine Siman Reish Nun. Reply. Haya l'mayla gedela shalalasa. Mayla gedela shalalasas malacha klal. You want to translate those words into Hebrew? Mayla gedela. Whatever that means, right? Lakshla also b'isser. Okay, nira nochel lahanig isser b'erev Shabbos koydo chatzos ulahata acher chatzos. Better. It's only a minute. Better be makel on erev Shabbos before chatzos than to be machmer, and then Rabbi will do it afterwards. L'chein kivan shelo shayach b'erev Shabbos zeh mitzvah malacha chatzos, etc. Okay. Hare yimsa shabanaga la'eser koydo chatzos hike goyim. Sheyasu l'chein le'hinagu le'in tisporach. Whoa. There we go. I think I'm back to normal over here. L'chein kivan shelo. No. Hare yimsa shen. Okay. Rotam nochem. Av elo noshim she'ein oisin. Okay. Lev, could you move this up because I move it down, whatever it's called. Can you move it so I can see more of the page? Thank you. Okay. We're also noshim. Where they go? Av elo noshim she'ein oisin malacha achar chatzos b'chol erev Shabbos. Tov shelo yichabsu b'erev Shabbos zeh klal. Dvarim she'ein tzarich Shabbos. That would be a very nice thing. I will eat Isser b'Isser minig akosher shel koydu chatzos. Gam lohem. The aim shaykh Isser mitzad minig rak liyichidim k'shei esher lahanig lekulam aval mayla yesh. Novel idea. Okay, that's the point that I just noticed. So what did we just learn? You're not supposed to be making washes ever on Erev Shabbos after chatzos, and because that's what's going to end up happening if we're not going to be makel. So the covered Shabbos, we allowed you to do it already in the morning, or whatever it is, taking your haircut, washing, whatever it is. So we already allowed you to do it in advance. Not going to help so much for the shower. Not going to help so much for the shower. Let's see. Here's the thing. Okay? No, he seems to say that there was no anything. He says they didn't answer it at all because what? Even that's what he seems to say. Okay, love, could you get that other safer? They never. The kids are like gazu. That's like gazu, right? Okay. All right. Now here we have a tshuva written on this subject, and I'm just going to read. There's many of the poskim write as follows: Halacha Tisha B'Av v'Yom Hey mutar listaper shachris shel erev Shabbos. When? Shachris, and so on. It says also Kitzur Shulchan Aruch mutar lechat listaper v'chabes miyad b'shachris. So all of these poskim they assume that this is happening in the morning. Now, I'd like to introduce you people to the world of 24/7. It used to be that people washed their clothing on the river. What kind of light did they have on the river? None. When did they wash their clothing? During the day. So when it says Shachris, that's when people did their work. People didn't work at night. You didn't go to the barber at 11 o'clock at night. This wasn't the international airport. This wasn't what's going on. So they have a question when it says over here, Shachris dafka or Shachris kidei nazir. Of course, it's just deeper b'havoy. That's what's called. We spoke about the normal. So a fine person will say that too. Let's say it's mutar miyad. Okay. The next page. Can you do the next page? Right. Okay. So here he has another piece. Okay, we discussed this piece already. Left the next page. I'm sorry to do this to you. I spoke this outside already about what he's supposed to be doing. your haircuts here. Okay, go down a little bit. You go down a little bit. Okay. I don't have it all. Okay.
This page, or should I do the next one?
Yeah, go to the next page. Go to the next page. Where is it? Gonna get it here. Okay. Oh, yesh lahosa. Afilu yodea ba'atzmo. And this is a fascinating thing. I know I'm a new couple, just me and my spouse, and we have 2 washes to do. When should I do it? Is there a heter to do it? He's going right now. Let's see. We found out that there's a heter to do it already at night. That is all of that. That's only if you're going to be tachuk. Like most people, that they have their laundry baskets are full to capacity, or is it mutter legamri? Od yesh lahoisef. Afilum yodea ba'atzmoi shebenei kal yachol ligmor kol hamutal olav lasas lekavod Shabbos. Gam kishiyasel rak midboiker shel erev Shabbos. I can finish it. I could get it all in. Mikomoko mutter lo lahaskel akol kfar milel erev Shabbos. Motza'ei Tisha B'Av. Why? The me'olam loy niskabel minig limnoya mikibos v'tispores v'rechitza b'Motza'ei Tisha B'Av shchalim v'er Shabbos. We're going to prove that this is not what's called in yeshivish jargon chuya. This is hutra. No, it's not. The pshat is that I'm forced to because of a situation to be meiko. In such a situation, like also. I think that's what said the Mishnah Berurah, right? I can't hear you.
So where's the idea of adding accommodations?
Oh, these no. When Tisha.
So not gather specifically when Tisha B'Av is on Thursday.
Right. In this situation, not generally.
Say the zero which I did make is not on that.
It wasn't said on this situation. Correct. Was that Buchach me'amogin Avram Sheschadur? It says the Poshet Kishachal Yom Vav Hakol Mutar L'Kavod Shabbos. Now, listen to this. Anybody remember? I remember this happened last year or 2 years ago. When Rosh Chodesh is on Erev Shabbos, so you're allowed to take a shower on Erev Shabbos with soap, right? We call this. What did we learn in Sifkat and Beis? Upashit besudas mitzvah mutar kol hakoyim la'achol afil hakoyva the pshita dalayla hazu kilo mirosh chodesh av. You want to weigh in Motza'ei Tisha B'Av, how heavy, how machmer is it? What? Less than Rosh Chodesh. Okay? So now, let's listen to what it says. Okay. Kishachar Rosh Chodesh b'yom v'ava kol mutar l'kavod Shabbos. Avol zeh hine gebrach Frankel, and he says, v'tzachim, lama pashat lahater lit stop l'koydem chatzois hechad esher lit v'acha chatzois v'ein arayim misham. Why should I mutar? The mutar lit v'yom hey v'yom vav m'gnei kavod Shabbos. The hosam ein heter lit stop it. And he has a question on this halacha, and because of this, so this sefer says it must be that the Magen Avraham held in those cases where we have clashes, those loigazu, and it's mutter altogether. Okay, I'm more or less finished with this piece. There's one more page. Lev, could you scroll down to get some more action over here?
That's 4 pages. So either they're out of order.
Okay.
They're out of order. So maybe
there's more. Okay, must have didn't send it to you. This is afterwards.
This was the second page, and that was the
But
first
okay.
page.
Anyways, this is the bulk of the issue. Bottom line, there is a machlokes the poskim, today's poskim. From when is it mutter to do these things? Okay, in my opinion, I'm just saying. In my opinion, vadai yesh ami lismoich. Vadai, somebody who has. I'm just going through some of the poskim. Somebody who has ample amount of laundry. Just use that as a thing to keep them busy to start their laundry beforehand. And the minig in Klal Yisrael is not to discriminate if it's for Shabbos or not for Shabbos. Once you're doing it, you can do whatever you're doing, as far as I'm concerned. What about taking a shower? What's the second? What about taking a shower? I would like to say that even I'm speaking practically. Halacha l'maaseh. Vadai yesh poskim al milasmoch. A person who, if I'm not mistaken, Tisha B'Av falls out on Thursday. That means since last Shabbos was a long time, right? So I'm willing to say that most people by Motza'ei Tisha B'Av by night, whether they did or didn't take showers sparingly beforehand, by now they're for sure in need of a shower. I think that's fair to say. Now, we're not right now discussing however what people took, but now they're definitely going to need a shower. So a person needs one, well, they're going to one, but I take one. Why? What's my basis? It's no worse. It's less than. It's less than the 9 days. And I would imagine most people are going to be crawling at that time. I'm willing to say that that's probably the situation. So the idea, a person who wants to not take a shower, ulai kodesh yomer. I'm not going to say not. I saw for a Vosner that says they take a shower with cold water. I'd say who wants to take a shower in hot water nowadays, anyways? But anyways, take one of ice cubes. But echshahu, the IT one can even use soap if one needs to. Okay, that's a very important halacha. That's again, somebody wants to be machma. I'm not going to say there is no makom to be machma, but the IT one can. Sure, not that he can be maker. In my opinion, it's mutter. Understand? I don't want to. In my opinion, I think it's mutter. Not that I'm being maker. I think that it's mutter. I'm aware that there are other opinions, so therefore there's room to be machma. Yeah. I think it's 100% mutter. 100% mutter. I will just mention, when I must have made a year, less than a year, and this happened, and I went to the Rav in the city that I was living in at that time, and in the Luach it seems to say only from the morning, and I asked him, is this only from the morning for real? So he says, no, forget about it. And I was like, so I said, why wasn't one there? He just said, speak to me some other time. Well, I didn't want to get involved in what I just got involved in. But it seems, if I'm not mistaken, I asked him, Yaakov really wants this question. And he also told me, I spoke to many about it throughout the years on this issue. And very minion opinion of all the place came out that it's a maker. I will just say, since there's welcome to the Machmer, so just welcome to the Machmer. If there's a Machmer, that's fine. Okay, well, that's the halacha. What? I didn't hear you. The whole thing? There's no, the percent's out, we're out, the whole thing is out. That's the part. What's the question? What does the Kol Shabbos mean? But because the Kol Shabbos, all these things came together. The Pashtus is one unit of things. They all goes on everything together. That's how I understand. Okay, that's just what they take care of that halacha in its own right.
I didn't hear. Did anyone ask about the haircuts?
Yes, it's mutter.
Right.
Mutter. It says mafurish, that's mutter. I'll read it again. I have to find it where we are. Here we go. Ruadin shelo lirchotz v'merchotz u'lestap v'chaves al chatzos. V'shav tisharov yom chamish v'shav tasiri v'ayim Shabbos mutter b'chol zeh v'chavet Shabbos. So kol zeh, that includes sounds like excluding haircuts. It all goes together. Now again, somebody wants to wait. For those who don't take on Thursday night anyways, whatever. I'm not getting involved in all those things. But tachlis, as far as this halacha, the halacha itself is concerned, the daiti shuras hadin it's mutter. Now I'd like to discuss one other thing, which is a schus of chavrusa of mine that pointed something out to me. He asked me a question, and he blew my mind, so to speak, with the question. I said, "Wow, I didn't ever think about this question before." And he said something which was maybe a little. I told him the answer, a little bit of a piece of a gadata, but I think it's worthwhile sharing. In our shul, every year there is a power struggle on Motza'ei Tisha B'Av. I say everybody should go home and eat and come back and say Kiddush Levana. And there's always people who are smarter than me, and they make Kiddush Levana right away. And it wasn't my idea. This is says in the place. You take a look, all the places can say that person should at least eat beforehand, and the person's supposed to do it b'simcha. The Moshe Sternbuch has a tshuva about, even though you're not allowed to dance in the 9 days, but the dancing from Kiddush Levana you're allowed to do, because it has to be the simcha and the chulu. And l'maisa, why do I say that? Because the person can say you should wear shoes, you should have eaten, you're supposed to be happy, and it's not a thing to do on your way out of shul. So comes and he asks me, I know that we make Kiddush Levana on Motza'ei Tisha B'Av, but this year, why don't we wait for Motzei Shabbos? To Mefurish halacha that you're supposed to make Kiddush Levana on Motzei Shabbos. So you should be mispasim. You should be wearing your fancy clothing and not your 9-day junk. And it's summer. He's not South African. He said it's summer. And you're South African. anyways, so there's no reason to not do it. So he says, so why are we mavater on doing things properly, and we're doing it on Motza'ei Tisha B'Av? No, so that is a meaning not to say it. There's a meaning not to say it until after Tisha B'Av. The going says that you should do it before Tisha B'Av. But the meaning in Klai Yisrael, the Ramon Shulchan Aruch in 2 places says that once you wait till after Tisha B'Av. But once you're ready on Thursday night, so wait a little bit and do about the Shabbos. There's a question that he asked. Can't hear you. How many days is it? You're talking about if Tisha B'Av is on Thursday night, so what's about the Shabbos? What? I think that that's plenty of time. L'maisa alachnu chipasnu v'matzanu. Found something which is fascinating. The Kal Yisrael is compared to the Levana that waxes and wanes. And the Churban bias is when Kal Yisrael is disintegrated to nothing. The Kiddush Levana, we celebrate the rejuvenation of a new cycle. Motza'ei Tisha B'Av, this is from Rav Chaim Vital. I didn't make this up. This is brought in all the Svarim, all Halacha Svarim. Rav Chaim Vital says the reason why we say it on Motza'ei Tisha B'Av is because just like the Levana has the rejuvenation, so we also, since it's part of the Tisha B'Av experience. So my chavrusa asked me, that's very nice, very romantic, but l'maisa, you're supposed to do it when you're in Yerusam. Why are you doing it at the wrong time? So I said to him, you missed the point. You're supposed to do it in Yerusam. That's when you have a choice of when to do it, but there's a special time to do it, and that's to do it now. So that's Machayev, you should do it at that time. Then you can't wait till Motzei Shabbos. I told him to take a look at the sources, you'll see something which is truly fascinating. It says that what this is to be the Vaser, the Levana, and Klal Yisrael, that they will have a rejuvenation. As Chazal tell us that the Levana was Chayte, And also Lava is not going to be, the Levana is going to come back to its proper size. So this idea is not only an Achama to Klal Yisrael, the Levana is also waiting for us. Just have in mind this Motza'ei Tisha B'Av, Shabbat Aleinu L'Toiva, in Yerushalayim. If Chas v'Shalom it doesn't, then you're here in Beit Shemesh. But the Ma'isa, the Simcha they should have on Kiddush Levana should have a special time for you this year. Okay. Thank you very much.